Teams yet. Couple more minutes to finish signing. Hello, Harper. Welcome.
Hello.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Let's start. Please stand. I pledge the allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Bob, bow your heads.
Bow our heads. Father, again, we thank you for the blessings you've given this squadron for its safety and for its health. We pray for those who are still en route for their safety. We pray for this squadron to increase our fold. We pray for our flyers for their safety and provide them with good weather. But most of all, we just praise you in your glory. Amen.
Amen. All right. Great attendance. Welcome new guests. Once we finish with few formalities, I will let new guest introduce yourself in a few moments. Today is Airspace Education Night. As just a reminder, we have three major missions for Civil Air Patrol. One of them airspace education, both for the members and for the community. So typically in our squadron, fourth Tuesday, fourth meeting of the month is dedicated for that subject. Other two missions, as we spoke in other meetings, emergency services, where we work with local authorities on different missions. Plus, we have youth development in the form of cadet program. Few updates on matters of our squadron. We have next week we have what we call Night Hawk meeting. Is an informal meeting at our hangar, which is right behind Riverside Flight Academy on the other side. We start usually at 6 p.m. For the present members, I already distributed the sign-up form. Please respond. The deadline for that form is a week from now, almost a week from now, Monday next week. The reason for the form, so we know how much food we have to buy, basically. So we make burgers, we make hot dogs. So the form also talks about dietary preferences and any voluntary contribution in form of fruits, snacks, drinks, etc. We also need to know how many guests are coming, and for those who are not yet members of our squadron, you're welcome, of course, to bring family and friends, and guests eat free. Members contribute to buy food and make it interesting. Any questions? Okay. So for guests, I will text you the link to the form. You're welcome to join us. And I'm hoping to bring airport management, or at least some of the airport management team, to the meeting. And every time we have Night Hawk, I'm also inviting folks from the tower. They haven't come yet, but maybe one day they will. I'll keep trying. If you think of any interesting guests you'd like to bring to our meetings, on Night Hawk or formal meetings, please let me know. We will make sure we'll advertise that event and make it more engaging for our for those attending our meetings. Any questions so far on Night Hawk? Okay. Next, I'd like to mention that next weekend, actually this weekend, we will have SAREX exercise for Group 7 at Fullerton. Only current members can attend those events. If you are working on any emergency services ratings, aircrew or ground team, that's a good time to be there and get your sign-offs done on the spot. Hopefully the weather will be nice and flyable. We are trying to make as engaging as possible. Hopefully we'll have enough aircraft to perform all the required flights. SAREX is planned for 2 days. The email for sign-ins was distributed from Second Lieutenant Sean Beltran Winchester. He is a member of the squadron out of Fullerton. If you have any changes to your sign-in form, please do so. Also review if you need to do any prerequisites for actual practice. For example, if you are working on a mission scanner or mission observer rating, you have to have your familiarization and preparatory stuff completed before you go there. Typically, there is not enough time to work on FAM and prep tasks at the event. So it's all dedicated for practical exercises. If you participate both days, you have an opportunity to complete your rating right there and become active in specific qualification. Any questions on that? Okay. Next, I'd like to mention that for those pilots going through onboarding, on Teams, Wing is hosting transition training class. The transition training class is covering the specifics of G1000 aircraft, different autopilots, in general, what's involved in getting on board as a pilot, initially as VFR pilot. I believe that communication goes to all members, but if you are not seeing anything like that, let me know. I will forward you the information for that specific channel on Teams. Speaking of Teams, a reminder to everyone, please install a client for Teams on your mobile device of your choice. iPad, iPhone, Google, Android device or anything, or even your computer. If you check Teams channels at least once a week, you'll see what kind of activities are actually happening. If you need help getting Teams installed, you can address your questions to myself or to Chris. Chris is also group IT resource, I believe, and
Help desk, all kinds of stuff.
yeah, so between myself and Chris, you typically will find all the answers to the questions you might have. One more update related to the wing. Our new wing commander has been on duty for 100 days, so he sent out communication to all the wing members with a few key milestones and his observations. So I'll make few highlights just for benefit of those who is not reading the email or haven't received one. So as of today, on November 1st, actually, the membership was at 3-year high of almost 2,000 seniors and almost 1,900 cadets. However, there was a little bit of drop as of January, and total membership for California is almost 4,000 members, 3,800. 27 senior members in California Wing have been in service for more than 50 years. That's amazing, actually. In the last 60 days, we have had 363 cadets receiving promotion, meaning that they are well on track with the activities they are involved in. But only 57 of our cadets have had orientation flights. Partially, I would say the weather is to blame. Second reason, we have quite a few aircraft in the wing down for service. So we are short, well, not 50%, but something like 60-65% of our fleet is currently not flying for a variety of reasons. And unfortunately, Fallbrook aircraft just was grounded last week due to failing compression check on one of the cylinders, meaning that you'll have to get a replacement cylinder, and it will take some time considering the parts issue. Just another great highlight, in January we have had 254 flights, regardless of the weather issues and regardless of the downed aircraft for maintenance. So typical missions we have flown: WADS, which is Western Air Defense System, counter-drag, and few other types. So again, check your emails. Typically, this kind of updates are going to all members. So once you are a member and you have your email account, you will be receiving it on a regular basis. For specialty track documentation, we have communication from our group concerning supporting documentation, facilitating approvals. So make sure you check that email from Lieutenant Colonel Sears, and it talks specifically what is required. So it's not really big deal. So in most cases, you just need to have a qualified mentor endorsing your specialty track advancement. So if you are in communications, moving from non to technician rating, then someone senior who was your mentor should send an email to the right channel for to ensure that your advancement is recorded. Yes.
It seemed like they were talking about the checklist of items to be
Correct.
done for that.
So basically, for every specialty truck, for every next level, there is a checklist what has to be completed for the advancement to take place. And the mentor who endorses your advancement should take that checklist, check it off, sign it, and give it to you in a scanned form, and you upload it to your files under the qualifications. And give it a meaningful name like specialty track such and such, this kind of rating, and it will be easier to avoid any kind of delays in giving you rating. All right?
It gets uploaded by, in my case, it would be uploaded by me, not
Correct.
by who signs it off.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I highly recommend for every advancement you are working on, do most of the work. Okay, so chase the right people to get the right sign-offs and collect all the required supporting documentation and upload to your profile through eService. Speaking of professional development in line with specialty track, every member coming aboard is required within 90 days from the day of becoming a member to complete professional level 1. Our squadron is great with that, so every member already onboarded went through that program. That is the only required professional development course you have to complete as a member. But to facilitate advancement through the ranks and facilitate better understanding of how Civil Air Patrol functions as an organization, I do recommend to work on your next level. As soon as you complete your level 1, start planning your next level, and so on and so forth. It doesn't take a lot of time, and there are multiple ways to get it done. One of them is in person. Sometimes one of the squadrons will host that kind of training, typically over the weekend, in a quite easy and informal fashion. Alternative to that, you can sign in through e-services to cohort training. So basically, volunteers across the nation will conduct this training in offline fashion through a learning management system we have in e-services. And third option, there is a schedule posted by Volunteer University, which is sub-organization at the national level, where specific classes at different levels hosted over a period of time. So they run multiple sessions like that, and the calendar for that, I believe, is available through services, right, Chris? But I have a bookmark for that anyway, so I can share it for anyone interested. So I've been trying to get into cohort for level 3 for a while, and I couldn't. I didn't get any response, so I checked in the calendar, and beginning of the year there was a sufficient number of classes to cover my missing courses. So I hope to complete level 3 by end of February through Volunteer University. And you manage your schedule, so you pick classes you need and at the time which works for you. And basically it's 1 hour, up to 1 hour session. In most cases there is no assignment, it's participation based. So you're supposed to read like a couple of page document in a PDF format and be able to discuss topics relevant to that specific subject. And at the end, you check that the instructor actually signed you off. So again, you need to chase the instructor. So getting the email address for that instructor is important. All right. Any questions on professional development? All right. There will be the regional conference hosted in Oregon. It's a Pacific Coast Region Oregon Wind Conference. Those members who are working on level 3 are required to participate in 2 wing conferences. It can be one California wing, it can be any other wing, virtual or in person. So again, be on lookout for those invitations. In my case, for example, I participated in California Wing Conference in person, but I also participated in a virtual conference for Hawaii Wing. And it was interesting for Hawaii Wing because it's quite different environment. They have islands, they have different kind of missions they fly. So overall was a positive experience. It did require 2 days of my time invested into it because the meetings start in Hawaiian morning and end approximately like 8 p.m. They were finishing around 7 or 8 p.m. Pacific time. So it does take time, but it could be beneficial from variety of angles. At this point, a couple words on aircraft. So 7598 Zulu, which we call Zelda, it's a Cessna 206, currently in 100-hour inspection at Maintenance 1 here at Riverside. Hopefully it will be done this week and will be ready for the SAREX at Fullerton over the weekend. 887 Charlie Papa, which is 182T, Cessna 182T G1000 aircraft, is moving back to the group 3, and goes back to Palm Springs on Monday next week after the SAREX. So at least 2 aircraft are expected for the SAREX in Fullerton. Hopefully 1 more if they fix it on time. The John Wayne aircraft may be there too. Any questions? Okay. Before I give word to Chris, Chuck, would you like to say a few words? You wanted some time to talk about UDF?
No.
No?
I just needed a minute to go.
Okay. You wanted to check. Okay, Chris, the floor is yours. Oh, hold on. Sorry, almost forgot. We have one promotion, which is overdue. Chris Younger, front and center, please. Lieutenant Younger, I promote you from second lieutenant to first lieutenant, and let me change your epaulets. Okay, well, you will take care of the iron after that with a chip for now to save time. Congratulations, sir. Okay, how promotions are done? Promotions are done based on time in service and based on achievements. For example, to move from second lieutenant to first lieutenant, completion of level 2 is required, right? And for promotion from first lieutenant to captain, completion of level 3 is required, plus some time in service.
Service plus specialty track ratings.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, and Chris is, besides being deputy commander for the squadron, along with Lieutenant Colonel Swift, he is also a professional development officer and what else? Personnel
for group, WAMO, IT.
Yes,
few
multiple hats, and we are very eager to share some of those responsibilities with new members. So we will embrace all new members with additional training required to get into these roles. And for the new visitor, would you please stand to say a few words about yourself?
Hello. My name is Denise. But nice to be here. Thank you for welcoming me. I am Dallas's fiance, and I'm excited to learn what you guys have to offer. He's very excited about this, so
That's good.
I'm happy to support him and be here.
Fantastic. Thank you. All right. Chris, we took quite a bit of your time, so hopefully you have enough.
Let me get set up here real quick. So I am, for all the new faces that we have around here, I am Chris Lopez. I am the Aerospace Education Officer. I've been in this role for about a year now. Started beginning of last year. You also see me pictures because I am also part assistant public affairs. So I post some of these, pictures of like the promotion and such like that on our Facebook page. Today, I kind of want to give a rundown of what aerospace education is and what we're going to be talking about through the course of the next year. First, aerospace education is basically just two fancy words for we're going to talk about cool stuff. Technology as it relates to aviation and space, just all that, all the mechanics and engineering and all that stuff that goes on to how airplanes fly, and also how we can use it to reach out to the community to get more people aware of the Civil Air Patrol. Michelle is going to pass out a little pamphlet here for all the newer faces to see some of the things that we have to offer. One of the big features of aerospace education that we have is we have a feature that a program that we can do where we can work with educators, formal and informal. That by formal, that of course means teachers. Informal basically means anybody who is in an educational role with a child. That includes homeschoolers, scout leaders, leaders in groups like Trail Life and American Heritage Girls, leaders in after-school programs, all those types of things. If they are involved with educating children, we have a program that we can reach out to them, and that's basically what the pamphlet that's passing around. It normally sits posted on the board over here. That's what that covers. And one of the things that gives those individuals. So if you have people that they may not want to be interested in becoming Civil Air Patrol like you guys all are, but they might want to get interested in getting access to these resources that Civil Air Patrol has to offer through these aerospace programs. One of them is it's a group of items called a STEM kit, and it's on the and you have a whole list of them on the back of the one side of that sheet. I don't know, technically the back, but you can't tell which side's the front and back unless I show you. But one of the STEM kits that we have is this right here. And the STEM kit, in case you're not familiar with the term, stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. And it's a way to get kids and older kids like us more engaged in the science behind flight and everything. And like I said, flight and everything. So this thing here that looks like kind of like a Star Wars space yacht of some sort is it's called an AccuRite, named right now, AccuRite 5-in-1 weather station. This unit, I'm hoping that we can get a day where we can maybe install this on our roof if possible. Not sure who's going to actually get the lucky person to climb up there, but
I would say you're what, the smallest person.
I was thinking the person who likes to go scuba diving and stuff might be one of them. But anyway.
Won't fit.
There's someone who's like a brand new first lieutenant, something like that.
Yeah.
No, me and Michelle. See?
But so what this does, this is actually a verified weather station. This can provide data. If you ever heard of the weather organization called Weather Underground, this will feed that data if we have it connected up properly into the Weather Underground data network. And so when it'll provide more accurate forecasts once it's all fully up and running. What you have here, this big, you can probably figure out some of it, but right here, this is a rain collector. So as rain goes in there, it measures the rainfall. So you ever wonder how they determine, oh, we had 2.5 inches of rain or whatever it was, something like this. Obviously the news and stuff like that, they have much fancier ones, but it's still not much different from this. The thing that's spinning freely on the top, this is of course a wind speed indicator. So, all right, it just catches the wind and goes that. This rudder-looking device, that's basically what it is. It determines the direction of the wind. It's a weather vane. So when the wind is, the pointy end points to where the wind is coming from. So if I wanted to pass out, I would blow really hard on this and get this to point in the right direction. This is easy to make spin. This is kind of harder to get in the right direction. It also has internal sensors to test humidity and barometric pressure. This particular unit it's a 5-in-1, so that's 5 things I just covered. And does run on batteries, and they have this unit here attaching this back to what I was saying earlier about the STEM kit program. Again, if you have teachers or educators in your friends and family circles and want to get them signed up with this, we can talk afterwards, or we can talk at any point. But what they do is they basically sign up to become an aerospace education member, and once they've done that, they have access to request one of these kits at a time. It's theirs to keep. They own it. It's their property. It's not on loan from the Air Force or the Civil Air Patrol. It is theirs. It does have a solar panel on there. Sorry, I forgot to mention one little feature there. Solar panel to keep it properly powered up. This particular unit, I just looked it up, retails for $150 if you were to buy it yourself on Amazon. And through the aerospace education program, those members who qualify for it, let me put it this way: the people who can order this will be Civil Air Patrol members who are in the aerospace education branch of our unit. So me or any aerospace education assistants that we get, and the squadron commander, and I believe deputy commander as well, can order these. The outside of that, the aerospace education members that I'll be talking about, so the school teachers and troop leaders, scout leaders, that stuff, they would be able to sign up for a one-time $35 membership fee to the national. They aren't members of Civil Air Patrol, but they're members in this just an aerospace education branch, and they can order these requests as well. So as you can see, getting them to say, hey, you can get a $150 weather kit for a $35 sign up is pretty good. Once the requirements are basically, we would send you, or not we would, the CAP National would send the person this. They would then take their students, give them a pre-quiz saying how much do you know about weather, and then a post-quiz after they set it all up and say how much they know about weather then, and then hopefully the numbers go up. If they didn't, I want to work on your teaching skills. But the objective is, again, to give them something hands-on, something neat. It's not textbooks. I know they do have a lot of texts as well, but these kind of things, kids love it when they can see something. And like I said, this particular one is like I said, it looks like something out of Star Wars. If you paint this the right colors and put a little Rebel Alliance logo on there, you got a Star Wars ship. This is actually one of two pieces that's included in the kit. The other piece is in this box. I can remember which side I cut open already. And of course I put it on the wrong side. Second piece is the actual display. So this we would mount. You can mount it on the wall. Since we have concrete walls, it's not quite as viable. It does also have a stand, so we can just set it on a table up here or on the top of the simulator or wherever we want. Just needs to be within 100 meters. I gotta remember my metric versus my imperial here. It's got to be within 100 meters of 300 feet of the spaceship, and we'll feed all the information to it. This is the part that communicates with the Weather Underground Network, so that it connects via USB cable in the back here to a computer, and that computer then, pretty sure all know how computers work. They feed it out to the internet, and some magic ones and zeros happen.
So I have one of these similar. It's actually you just need a cell phone, I think, because when you program it, or is this a different one?
You might be able to use a high. Some of them might be able to do a cell phone, but that also might be based on if you have it, how you have it set up.
Because it's like that. The unit wireless is to that. Wireless connects to that, and then you download the ambient weather app, I think, or depending on which model it is, and then that I just use my phone, and so that communicates directly with Wi-Fi. And then
But does your phone have to be? Do you have to be near it for it to actually do anything?
No, just for the setup to connect that to the Wi-Fi to the Squadron Wi-Fi.
Okay.
And then once that's set up, it communicates all on its own.
Okay. Well, that'd be even better. But if not, it does come with a USB cable and it has a USB port. So I'm assuming that's how.
Interesting. I wonder
Yeah.
if you use that.
That's what they showed. That's how they showed it setting up in the manual. But
Okay,
obviously,
okay.
we still have the fun to peel off plastic on here, so I haven't gotten that far on it. Because we're going to set up in here. I don't want to mess it up in the right setting up.
What is the duration of the battery life?
I can tell you mine. I got it for Christmas like 2018, and I still haven't replaced the battery.
But it's recharging with solar.
The solar recharges the battery on the unit, and it's been rained on, stormed on,
That's got to be solar
snowed on.
powered.
Yeah, it has solar on the.
This is solar, but it does actually have 4 AA batteries in here, so
Are they rechargeable?
it doesn't come with any. So
Oh, that's interesting.
I'll
So,
figure out exactly what that.
Oh,
That's
maybe
mine.
during the day it's powered by solar and at night it's powered by the battery.
yeah, I mean it's weird.
Or it could be a backup.
Because I think mine are rechargeable. I might have a different unit.
This is powered by a wall outlet with a backup. It has a slot for backup battery in here, but it specifically says the battery is for backup. Make sure it's plugged into power. Because I guess with weather, sometimes the weather knocks out the power. Not so much around here, right? But so that's one of our big kits. The other kit, a couple other kits we have here. We have a flight simulator yoke and rudder pedals. Those, again, if you were to buy them on your own, it costs about $300 for the yoke and rudder pedals. So we've in this program just in the last couple months, we've had now 3 teachers sign up for the program. 2 at the Rialto Unified School District, and one of those teachers, her son, also signed up out of state. I'm not sure if they properly used my. No, I know at least one used my number as a reference, but I have to check if the others did as well.
Is there a way to run a report from people who signed up from reference to our unit?
There is at some level. I don't know if I have that access yet.
That's a good question to ask higher up in the chain.
Yeah. So.
And it would be great for our report at the end of
Yeah.
the fiscal year.
Yeah. But so that's one of the things we're trying to drive. We're trying to get these things in the hands of our community because 1, it gets a Civil Air Patrol name out there. 2, it is great education, and 3, it gets kids interested in aviation in a way that they might not have ever realized that they would like it. Some people think aviation is just about flying airplanes. And while that's the thing that, is the most visible, the most exciting part, every person here that is a pilot, we know that we are also amateur meteorologists. In some ways, we're cartographers. We got to figure out all this, all these little parts of things just to make it work. And if you own your own airplane, you either have lots of money or you become part-time engineers, or both. A mechanic. There you go. Because you have to build and fix and repair other planes, and and I know a lot of mechanics. They do a thing where you can pilot assist, right? Where you they give you a little bit discount on the maintenance if you go and help them put your plane back together. Yeah. So there's a lot.
There is another benefit, sorry for interruption, for the pilots anyway, who is on board at Civil Air Patrol pilots, we can offer teacher on a plane program to the airspace education members, which entitles one in a lifetime or once in a year?
Per year.
One per year flight in Civil Air Patrol airplane, and typical flight involves taking off from, let's say, our airport and flying over the school at a given time, so the kids of that teacher come out and see their teacher on the plane. And it's completely free for the educators, and important to know that this membership of $35 is lifetime. So they enroll once and they have access to all these benefits for as long as they wish. So they can continue buying different STEM kits and offer enriched experience to the children.
I don't think they buy them, right? They just apply for them.
Well, they don't buy the STEM kits; they order them.
Yeah.
Sorry for the.
Yeah. And in regards to this STEM kit, one of the requirements that we have before I can order another STEM kit is I need to do an evaluation, a pre-evaluation and post-evaluation of us as well before I can get another request. So, with that regard, just by show of hands, who would say that they have maybe on a scale of 8 to 10?
8 to 10.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Good catch. On a scale of 1 to 10, who would say you've got an 8 or better, 80% or better? Would you grade your knowledge of weather?
Notice how none of the pilots are like.
It's kind of funny, right? I'd say probably as pilots you should probably fall into that category, but we probably also know enough about weather to know that we don't feel comfortable that we do fall into that category. I'd say so I think about 5-6 hands went up. About 50 to 70 or 5 to 7, who would think they would fall into that category? Okay, another 5. Let's see, another 5 hands, and below 50. Okay, so it's a pretty good split. Basically, it's about one third of the room in each of those 3 categories. So ideally, we can get this thing set up at some point, and then we'll have another quiz, and we'll say hopefully a few more hands went up in at least in a little bit, and then we can say we
Well,
evaluated it.
The neat thing is once we get it set up, we can also display its stats on our webpage. So.
Yes, I'll leave that to the IT specialist to. Nice volunteering. Thank you.
That's how I do it at home, so it's easy for me.
Yeah.
Just gotta figure out where to mount it.
Yeah.
Well, we have access, so our antennas are up there, but I'm assured if Mike can get up there, we can get up there.
Yeah.
I've
Oh,
just
it is
never
a
done
wall
it.
mount. Oh,
So-
it can be wall or.
A wall or base.
Cool.
Okay.
So this can go either way.
I think you screw that into the side of
Yeah.
something, and then it sticks up.
Well, you can put it in the side, but it also has holes in the bottom. So either way. And this piece here has screw holes here to keep this from falling out like it did on me when I first placed that in.
It's not a very long pole for that.
It is not.
That's
Are you
an
gonna really
extension.
get a true reading if it's sitting on the edge of a building?
Yeah, because it needs to be exposed.
It's gotta be isolated.
Well, we could probably.
Changing batteries will be a problem.
As I said, I've never changed my
Mine sits
batteries.
out in the patio, clear out in the backyard.
And we probably wouldn't want to sit too close to this side of the building, just because as planes are taxiing from the fuel pit, we'll get the errant spikes in the wind speed.
It's somewhat shielded up there. So.
Yeah. Just saying, not too close to the front, but so these are some options we can think about exactly where we want to get this. And to your point, I was just gonna suggest that if to the point of making this pole a little longer, we can. This looks like a standard gauge of a PVC size, so if we can figure out exactly what size this is, we can.
Yeah,
Just take it to Home Depot and see what.
Yeah, see what pipe fits it.
Yeah, because it needs to.
Probably help you with any kind of custom things that you might need to.
Okay.
I have a commercial 3D printer.
Okay, well that could work then. So yeah, this is one of our goals for this year is to get this up. Hopefully, this is our goal for first quarter. Let's put it that way, because we don't want this the sooner we get this done, sooner I can go on and order another kit and see what other cool neat toys we can play with, or maybe even get a second one of these so that we can take it to events and have those on display as, hey, here's what the Civil Airport Patrol can do, and have, again, if we had this on a table, we mounted or set up like on display, we'd probably have kids saying, "Oh, that's a neat Star Wars model" or something like that, and then have to then get a chance to explain to them. It opens a conversation. Again, on the paper that I sent passed around, there are a ton of kits that are available on a variety of topics. One of the other things that we do at Aerospace Education is it's something called the Jaeger Award. For anybody who's involved in aviation, I don't think the last name Jaeger is a surprise to anybody. If you're not sure who that is, though, Chuck Yeager, the first man to break the sound barrier, fly faster than the speed of sound. We have an award based off of him. It's essentially, and I'll be honest, you two in the back could probably take the test right now and probably pass it based on your history of of aviation information. It is a long book that we have a PDF form on our team's chat that you'll get access to once you sign up, or once you're signed up and all through the system. But it is an open book test. It's about I think it's a 100-question quiz on basically the history of aviation. It's based off of a book called the name is escaping me, and I didn't put it in my notes. The Journey of Flight, Volume 3, I believe is the one. The quiz I'm pretty sure based on 3, because I don't think 4 is propagated enough yet. But basically, it just goes all the way through the book journeys. The Journey of Flight goes all the way from like ancient experiments in making rockets and stuff in old China and all that stuff, up through the experiments in the drawings of Leonardo da Vinci and the concepts coming up by the French with hot air balloons and all the other stuff, all the way up through modern day. And they keep on up with a new edition of it because we keep coming up with new stuff. So the newer editions, and also they're probably fixing typos. To be totally honest, I discovered a few when I was reading it. But that's the quizzes you on. So it'll be things along those lines. Honestly, I'm completely blanking on sample questions because it was about a year ago that I did the quiz. But it's not particularly hard quiz because you have an open book when you're doing the quiz. That's something we like to encourage everybody. I believe that's a level 2 part. So when you finish the levels that Andre was talking about at the beginning, you have your level 1, which is just your introduction to CAP, our policies, our procedures, all that stuff. Level 2 is the more advanced information, and that's where the Jaeger Award. So once you finish level 1, you jump into level 2, and then we can get you on the Jaeger Award, and that's and all this stuff is really, all these levels. It's just basically all level 1 stuff is basically you go on the computer and you read the thing, and it says, okay, yes, CAP does this way. This is what our goals are. This is what our what our missions are, and you take a little quiz at the end, and it's like those are usually 5-question quizzes, and it's each module's done in 10-15 minutes. Another let's see, the 2 things that I'm currently going through. I've been doing a series of presentations about the ongoing space race and the moon missions that are going on. Today I have a couple of slides, not a big presentation because I anticipated the way today would go. Let me make sure I got this. Okay. So let me just share what I've got here. And there's no video or any audio with this presentation. Just remember where the share button is. Working IT all day long and you can't remember how to operate share screen. There it is. Okay. And let me just that's not what I wanted. There we go. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that view instead of trying to mess it up by expanding it even further. So again, previous meetings we've talked about the Artemis program to go to the moon and Mars, but NASA is not doing this alone. There's a lot of other people out there trying to do things, commercial and other countries and other country groups. So I'm just going to do a quick rundown, not getting too deep into any of the details in any of these. I'm going to try to do that in future meetings. But what we have here, these are 4, and I've got 4 more on another slide. We have the Astrobiotic Peregrine and Griffin landers. This one here has been in the news recently because they failed spectacularly, but also succeeded because they were actually able to get the Peregrine is the first one. That one was just launched a couple weeks ago. Honestly, these dates are all kind of tangled up in my mind right now. They were supposed to land on the moon, do a soft landing on the moon with the Peregrine module, and had a leak in their fuel. These are all unmanned, by the way. They had a leak in their fuel systems that caused them to start to spin uncontrollably, but they were able to recover it and actually got it back to Earth. They initially thought they were going to lose it in the depth of space and just collect whatever data they could get, but they actually were able to get it back into Earth, which at least saved something. The next one here is the that's the Japanese Space Agency, JAXA. Presuming I'm pronouncing that right. Their Smart Lander for Investigating Moon, or SLIM. That one is launching, or just launched, I remember. Again, a lot of them going on right now. So this one either just launched or is about to launch. And again, that one is an unmanned lander going to the moon. We have also coming up the Intuitive Machines IM-1 module, sponsored by Columbia. Just I make
American flag behind it?
yes. But there's a big old Columbia clothing company logo on the front of it as well that you can't see too well in this shot.
Oh, not the country of Columbia.
No, yes. Yes.
gotcha.
Yes, Columbia Clothing Company.
Uh,
You got to get the sponsors.
Sounds like space narcotics. I can't wait. They have a new mission for CAC.
I was just gonna say there's.
We're counter drug, right?
yeah, space stuff.
Yeah.
We get to escort it. We got aboard of the submarines.
The fourth picture here is probably the coolest looking vessel on there from a pilot's perspective. That's the Sierra Space Dream Chaser, and that is the Dream Chaser unit called Tenacity. So Sierra Space is the company, Dream Chaser is the program, and Tenacity is the vessel.
That's the one they're trying to make as the escape module, right?
They,
Because it's like completely automated.
I believe so. This particular unit is unmanned, but it is a lifting body shuttle design. For those of us who've been following the shuttle program for a long time, we always had these dreams of the next shuttle would be this lifting body design. It was always on the cover of Popular Mechanics and stuff, never on the actual launch pads, unless there's some top secret stuff I don't know about. But that was this is kind of in the same general design concept as that. But again, this particular one in the picture is unmanned. But the goal is they would have a manned module as well.
Yeah, also important to note, there is no nose gear. It's just a ski.
Yes.
So it lands like most GA pilots. Or at least
The next 3 or 4, I should say, are more your traditional rocket ships, as we would be familiar with them. First, you have the SpaceX. I think most of us are familiar with SpaceX. They've been one of the bigger players in the game with their Polaris Dawn module. The twin rockets there, those that's the only picture I could find that wasn't ridiculously oversized for the graphic that I'm putting together. It's only one rocket. It's just I put 2 to fill in the space. That's from the European Space Agency, and that's again, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing this right, but Ariane 6. Those are, again, more traditional rockets. The third picture there is the NASA. It's NASA in conjunction with Blue Origin, so all of your Amazon purchases are helping to fund this, both from your taxes and from the purchase from Amazon. And they're working. It's a that's an interesting bug. The NASA part of it is the module on the right here, and that is the actual space capsule, space unit. That is called Escapade, and then the Blue Origin is the rocket New Glenn, named after John Glenn. That's Blue Origin's thing. They kind of tend to name their rockets after astronauts from the original era, so they had new. I can't even think of names right now, but we got New Glenn, and their programs. Basically, NASA picked the New Glenn rocket as the one that would launch the Escapade space module up there. And then last in this particular presentation is the Boeing Starliner. Hopefully the doors stay closed and stay attached. But again, this picture here, again, is the only one I could find to really fit fit the dimensions of my slide. So that's what we're going with. But the Starliner itself is just the capsule on the end of the rocket. The rocket is, I think, still to be determined exactly which rocket is going to be used to launch it. But again, these are 8 of the big programs that are going on this year or expected to be this year. Of course, there's going to be delays. It would be amazing if all 8 of these actually launched this year. Just because we're dealing with rocket science. So there is a chance that all 8 could go up, but I'd say it probably be a good year if at least 6 of these get off the ground and get into space.
Well, they've already changed the date, according to the NASA website. They've already changed the date to January 2025.
Yes, so that's part of it too. That's the Artemis program. Thank you. The Artemis program has already been delayed by. It's supposed to start this year. Now it's pushed off to next year. Actually, the manned portion of it was supposed to be this year. It's pushed off to next year. So that's, again, especially when you're dealing with manned flight, they got to take extra safety, extra precautions. They can't just go out in the desert and blow up a rocket like Elon likes to do because there's people on board. So that's these are some of the things we're going to talk about. I'm hoping to delve more into each of these missions as our presentations permit, and as just as we get the time and information on them. And who knows, maybe we'll have some really cool stuff to actually see based on this, because it's really, honestly, from a space perspective, this is kind of an exciting time, because we're going through a lot. We had kind of a down period from, to be honest, roughly around the time that Columbia exploded to a few years ago, when things started picking back up, and now it's like, yeah, we're going to space again and actually doing some exploration. So I just called this Space Race 2024, and that's my slide. The only other thing I ask is, if you guys have any topics, anything that kind of fits in the aerospace education mold that you want to hear more about, or even if like hey, I was involved in this program and I could talk about it, or I know something about it, talk to me. We can see if you want to speak. I'm not looking at anybody back there in the back row, but you aren't members yet, so but yeah, just in general, I learned in preparing for this, and as I'm learning on the job, basically in this role, that I don't have to be the one actually giving this presentation. I just have to be the one, overseeing it and coordinating it and making sure it stays on point, and making sure we don't have somebody talking about something that's completely off the rails. Unless it's actually like a space railgun or something like that, that's on the rails, I guess. Puns are required, and that's like, any questions.
I think you're the perfect person to ask, Chris. What about the solar flare?
I haven't heard anything about a solar flare. I haven't looked into. You?
The flare or the coronal mass ejection? I think it's a CME.
It's been back and forth and renamed a couple of times, but there's been an impending flare that's coming from space that theoretically is going to take down our Wi-Fi for a couple of months, right?
It may take out not just Wi-Fi, general communications.
Yeah, actually, Chuck would know a lot about that too. It affects our comms.
Yeah, you're referring to the Carrington event, which was back in history. There was
It is upcoming event.
there was an event that occurred that, had it occurred today, would have wiped out most of the electrical grid, most electronics, most of those things. So there is no pending doom at this point. It's a crapshoot. It just depends. We just had a big solar storm occur, but as long as it's not exactly Earth directed and keeps going, either north, south, east, west of Earth, we're okay.
Well, and on that, just looking it up right now, it looks like it was supposed to be here either yesterday or today. So we're still here.
Yeah.
So I guess it
Hopefully
didn't.
my Wi-Fi works.
From a radio perspective, we're very in tune with what's going on.
Yeah.
Because it affects HF,
Yeah.
shortwave radio very much, and
Yeah.
it's been tough the last day or so.
Yeah, I think, are we, so also on that, the sun has a 9-year cycle, and I don't know where we are in our cycle.
We're at the peak right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, so,
Which makes great looking auroras
Yes.
in the polar circle.
If you're really interested in it, it's a really interesting subject. There's a doctor. Her name is Dr. Skov, Skov. She's on YouTube, and she does just lots of good space weather information. She's very, very good.
is that where that, like, she has, like, the space weather, like, it shows the activity levels and all that kind of
Oh
stuff?
yeah,
Yeah, I think
yeah.
I've seen
She's
that.
very, very good. She's a very smart lady.
Okay. Well, thank you, Chris. Good job. I would reinforce that not only related to airspace education, but relevant for any topic we are covering. If you have any particular subject you'd like to bring to the attention of our group, you're welcome to just let me know in advance that I prepared this much information. It will take me 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes to present, and the floor is yours. We are not here just to present something to the group. It's open environment. Anything of your interest, more than welcome to bring. Maybe you read about a specific incident or a phenomenon or this particular issue with solar flare. Just prepare some materials. It could be a short YouTube video and commentaries from yourself. Go for it. Okay, any questions? Comments? Okay, well, the meeting is over. Official part is done. Thank you everyone who joined online, and have a good rest of your evening.